Caitlin Clark's NIL fortune, WWE legend John Cena giving her a shout out, a college athlete becoming a marketing powerhouse, and is Caitlin Clark's rise highlighting racial bias in sports media? These are just a few things you probably didn't know about Caitlin Clark. 10 things you didn't know about Caitlin Clark. Number 10. It all starts with her athletic roots. Caitlin Clark, the standout basketball star from the University of Iowa, comes from a family deeply rooted in sports. Her athletic prowess isn't just a coincidence, it's in her blood. Caitlin's father, Brent Clark, wasn't just a casual athlete. He played both basketball and baseball at Simpson College and later became a coach. Her mother, Ann Nietzsche Clark, also has sports running through her veins as the daughter of a former football coach. Caitlin's older brother Blake took the field playing football at Iowa State University, while her younger brother Colin was a multi-sport athlete in high school. Caitlin's extended family is filled with athletic talent. Her uncle, Mike Nietzsche, was a standout football player at Drake University, and her cousin, Joe Wieskamp, made waves in basketball at the University of Iowa before being drafted into the NBA in 2021. This strong athletic background has undoubtedly shaped Caitlin into the powerhouse she is today. She's not just a star, she's made history as the all-time leading scorer in NCAA women's basketball. Number 9. Groundbreaking NIL income. Caitlin Clark is making waves as the undisputed face of women's basketball. Her meteoric rise to fame came at the perfect moment, right as the NCAA rolled out its NIL rules, letting student athletes finally cash in on their name, image, and likeness. Since 2021, Clark has been unstoppable, racking up major deals left and right. With 11 NIL deals under her belt, Caitlin Clark has become one of the highest paid student athletes in the country, raking in a jaw-dropping $3.1 million. And guess what? These deals are here to stay. There's no doubt that Clark will continue to hold on to her big money partnerships thanks to her growing celebrity status. Clark made history by becoming the first female athlete to launch her own collection with Wilson Sporting Goods, featuring a range of basketball gear and accessories. And that's not all. Clark could soon join an elite group of WNBA players with signature shoes. Her endorsement deal with Nike, valued at approximately $28 million over 8 years, is set to be the biggest sponsorship deal ever signed by a women's basketball player. And that's just the beginning. In December, she landed a deal with Gatorade, becoming one of the faces of the iconic energy drink brand. Clark's roster of endorsements is stacked with powerhouse brands like Buick, State Farm, Bose, and Shootaway. She's not just dominating on the court, she's redefining what it means to be a modern athlete, turning every opportunity into a win. Number 8. Most watched star in WNBA and NCAA history. In a jaw-dropping display of sheer power and skill, the 2024 NCAA championship between Iowa and South Carolina captivated a staggering 18.7 million viewers on average, making it the most watched women's basketball game of all time. That's right, Clark's electrifying performance shattered records and, for the first time ever, the women's final outdrew the men's, which averaged 14.8 million viewers. This is a seismic shift in the world of sports. But hold on to your hats because the excitement didn't stop there. The Hawkeyes' incredible journey to that climactic showdown was a spectacle in itself. Their Final Four battle against the University of Connecticut drew 14.2 million viewers, and their dramatic game against the defending champs Louisiana State University attracted 12.3 million viewers. To put it in perspective, the 2023 final between LSU and Iowa, which was already a blockbuster event, had 10 million viewers on average. Speaking of watching, last year, Caitlin Clark made headlines by waving her hand in front of her face, channeling WWE legend John Cena's iconic "You Can't See Me" celebration after her historic performance. John Cena himself congratulated Clark, tweeting, "Even if they could see you, they couldn't guard you," to his 14 million followers. His shoutout celebrated Clark's incredible performance and her Iowa Hawkeyes advancing to the Final Four. Number 7. Is her success highlighting racial inequality in sports media? Caitlin Clark is setting the WNBA on fire, but her meteoric rise has stirred up some serious conversations about race and media coverage. Here's the scoop. While Clark's dominating the headlines and breaking records, her spotlight has raised eyebrows about racial representation in sports. Kevin Baxter from the LA Times recently dropped some truth bombs on LA Times Today. He pointed out that Clark, a white athlete from Iowa, is getting a huge chunk of media love in a league that's 70% black and about 30% LGBTQ. Caitlin Clark is a unicorn, Baxter said, but this focus on her raises questions about why players of color aren't getting the same level of attention. A recent University of Massachusetts study backs this up, showing that black players in the WNBA often get way less media coverage compared to their white peers, even though they're usually more dominant on the court. Clark's influence is undeniable. Her game against the Sparks set a new attendance record with over 19,000 fans. Baxter said, historically, white players get more media and sponsorship deals. Caitlin Clark's breaking through, but it's making people wonder why it took her to challenge these old norms. Number 6. A sneak peek into her secret sauce. Ever wondered what it takes to shoot like Caitlin Clark? Here's a glimpse into her rigorous training regimen that turns her into a basketball powerhouse. Clark's private shooting sessions are nothing short of intense. She kicks things off with 5 to 8 minutes of close range work, focusing on her shooting form and gradually stepping back while perfecting her guide hand. Next up is a grueling 300-shot routine. First, she tackles 100 free throws, aiming to sink at least 90. Then, it's 100 mid-range jumpers with a goal of hitting 80, followed by 100 three-pointers, where she aims for 70 makes. But that's just the warm-up. Clark then dives into off-the-dribble shooting, where she targets making 70 to 75 shots out of 100. The grand finale? 50 logo three-pointers out of 100. And all this happens within just over an hour. Between shooting sets, she integrates ball handling and defensive slide drills, pushing her skills to the next level. Number 5. Outstanding records. Clark has set the bar high with her remarkable achievements, including the WNBA single-season rookie record for three-pointers and assists. Her impressive performance doesn't stop there. She also holds the record for the most assists by a rookie in WNBA All-Star Game history, with a standout 10 assists. In addition to these accolades, Clark was named WNBA Rookie of the Month for July, underscoring her impact early in her career. She also set a new single-game record for assists with a phenomenal 19 assists, showcasing her playmaking prowess. Adding to her historic season, Clark achieved the first triple-double by a rookie in WNBA history and in Fever history, marking a significant milestone in her debut. Clark's star power was further highlighted by her selection as the 9th rookie to start in a WNBA All-Star Game. She also became the only player to receive over 700,000 votes for the All-Star Game, a testament to her widespread popularity. Impressively, she is the fastest player to reach 350 points and 150 assists to start a WNBA season, regardless of how long players have been in the league. Her debut game on May 14th was a showcase of her potential, with 20 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 10 turnovers. Not to mention, she was the number 1 overall pick by the Indiana Fever in the 2024 WNBA draft, solidifying her role as a transformative player. Clark's rookie season has been nothing short of sensational, setting new standards and proving she's a force to be reckoned with in the WNBA. Number 4. Shocking breakfast routine. In a surprising twist for such a high-profile athlete, Full Court Press has uncovered Caitlin Clark's unexpected breakfast routine. Premiering with the 2024 WNBA season, the ESPN Plus series takes viewers deep into Clark's world, documenting her transition from college basketball superstar to professional player. What's truly shocking? Despite her elite status and the intense demands of her career, Clark's daily breakfast has been remarkably down to earth. According to the show, producer Hannah Beer not only documented Clark's journey, but also provided her with a fast food style breakfast each day. This included a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich alongside an iced macchiato with vanilla sweet cream cold foam, a surprisingly casual meal for someone at the top of their game. After dominating on the court with an electrifying 28.4 point average per game, Caitlin Clark's post-game hunger is nothing short of legendary. Despite her top-tier athleticism, the superstar's choice of recovery food might blow your mind. Forget protein shakes and health bars. Clark's ultimate post-game feast is a decadent carb and fat explosion. Chicken parm, pasta, and a massive glass of chocolate milk. Yes, that's right. For one of the most elite athletes in the world, this meal is her secret weapon to recharge. While at Iowa, Clark's post-game indulgence included something even sweeter, homemade chocolate chip cookies. These weren't just any cookies, these were baked by her mother and brought to the game for Clark and her teammates to savor after a grueling match. Number 3. Unusual pregame rituals. In a candid interview with Jake from State Farm, one of her major endorsement partners, Clark shared some unexpected habits that might surprise even her most loyal followers. "I always have to straighten my hair before the game," Clark revealed on Instagram. It's a quirky routine that's uniquely hers, setting her apart from the pack. But that's not all. To get into the zone, Clark also listens to calming country music, which she says helps her focus and stay calm amid the pregame nerves. While some athletes have superstitions, like Patrick Mahomes and his lucky underwear, Clark's routine is a mix of personal style and mental preparation. Her relationship with State Farm, which began during her incredible run with the Hawkeyes, has made her a staple in their commercials, showing that she's as much of a star off the court as she is on it. Number 2. Her grandfather knew she was special. Long before Caitlin Clark was dominating headlines and breaking records in women's basketball, she was making a name for herself on a much smaller stage, a boys' league in Waukee, Iowa. But even at the tender age of 5, Clark's competitive spirit and sheer determination were impossible to ignore. Her grandfather, Bob Nietzsche, a former Dowling Catholic football coach, will never forget that day. Nietzsche and his wife were watching from the stands as their granddaughter faced off against a much bigger, older boy. This wasn't just any game, it was a battle. The boy was rough, pushing Caitlin around and using his size to intimidate her. The 5-year-old Caitlin was clearly frustrated and overwhelmed, tears welling up as she struggled to hold her ground. She was being pushed around by this big kid who was using his size and aggression to dominate her, Nietzsche recalled. She was crying, feeling like she couldn't play the way she wanted. It was heartbreaking to watch. Caitlin's father and coach, Brent Clark, pulled her from the game, trying to give her a moment to regain her composure. As she sat on the bench, her tears flowed, and it seemed like the bully had won. But little did anyone know, Caitlin Clark was just getting started. She stopped crying and looked at her dad, eager to get back in, Nietzsche said. But when she got back on the court, she didn't head for the ball. No, Caitlin had her sights set on something or someone else. With laser-focused determination, Caitlin marched straight toward her tormentor. She wasn't interested in playing. She was on a mission. She squared up, and with a burst of strength that no one saw coming, she slammed into the boy, sending him sprawling out of bounds. Then, in a moment straight out of a movie, she stood over him, her small frame towering with defiance. "She's 5 years old, standing over this boy she just flattened," Nietzsche continued. "My wife and I looked at each other and knew this little girl was something special, a fighter through and through." From that day on, Caitlin Clark was known as more than just a player. She was a force of nature, unafraid of anyone or anything. The same fierce determination that fueled her as a child still drives her today, making her a standout star in women's college basketball. That boy was bigger, more experienced, but none of that mattered to Caitlin, Nietzsche said. She's always had that fire, that toughness. It's just who she is. Number 1. Is the Caitlin Clark versus Stephen Curry comparison fair? Curry says no. When Caitlin Clark hit that stunning three-pointer from nearly half court, shattering the NCAA women's scoring record, the world couldn't help but draw comparisons. A shot like that, fired off from almost mid-court, where most players wouldn't even think to aim, evoked memories of NBA superstar Steph Curry. The Golden State Warriors guard, known for his deep shooting range and game-changing style, has transformed the way basketball is played. So, naturally, when Caitlin Clark pulled off her incredible feat, she was quickly labeled the female Steph Curry by NBC Sports radio host Dan Patrick. But Steph Curry himself? He's not buying it. In a candid interview, Curry pushed back against the comparison, arguing that it doesn't capture the full extent of Clark's game. "I think it almost robs her of, the rest of her game," Curry explained. "She's such a good floor general. She racks up close to triple-doubles every night. And her shooting ability is, it's her superpower, but the rest of her game is as polished as that. So this is must-see TV." Curry's remarks underscore the reality. Caitlin Clark isn't just a sharpshooter. She's a complete package, dominating with her court vision, ball handling, and ability to control the tempo of the game. To Curry, comparing her to him based solely on her shooting is a disservice to her multifaceted talent. Clark is redefining what it means to be a star in women's basketball, and she deserves to be seen in her own right, not just through the lens of her male counterparts. Speaking of Steph Curry, watch this video on the screen right now for more Steph Curry.